ask yourself this question. If you could find a place that had affordable homes at good prices, shares border with the best suburb in Texas, sits on the bank of one of DFW's most popular lakes, and is ranked as the fastest growing cities in the country, would that make you at least want to take a look and see if this could be a good fit for your family? Little Elm is one of the most underrated suburbs in the entire Metroplex, but honestly, not a lot of people would agree with me in that regard. And the reason I say that is most people around the DFW haven't even heard of it. You're literally speaking a foreign language to them when you start talking about Little Elm. But I've helped quite a few clients relocate to this suburb, and I want to share some of the pros and cons of living in Little Elm, Texas. So let's get into it.
Yeah, fall back too close, you ain't even know me. Trust my brothers from way back from the north. Whiskey and the old, spend it like they owe me. Gotta stay.
So Little Elm is located right on the banks of Lake Lewisville, and it's up here in Denton County. It's about 32 miles north of downtown Dallas and on the east side of Denton, right? Now, if Denton doesn't really ring a bell for you, that's where the University of North Texas is. So it's, your typical size college town. Now, the thing that really makes Little Elm attractive is it's sitting right next to Frisco, which is by far the #1 suburb in the Dallas Metroplex. Everyone is moving to Frisco, but the thing about Frisco is it's really expensive, and you definitely have to have those coins if you're trying to live there. Now, the reason I really believe Little Elm is blowing up is because Little Elm is like the little brother of Frisco, right?
It's my little brother, man.
The homes are going to be more affordable. You'll get more bang for your buck, but you'll still have access to everything that Frisco provides. Pretty much like all the shops and restaurants around Legacy East and West. You'll have easy access to the Star where the Cowboys practice facility is, and a whole bunch of other events and venues. Now, size-wise, Little Elm really isn't that large, right? But I believe today Little Elm's population is around 46,000 people. But even with such a small population, there are quite a few pros that you usually don't get with a lot of other smaller cities. Now, I don't know about you, but after being cooped up for 2.5 years, it really gave me a perspective about being able to get outdoors. Now, I do love the fact that more people are able to work from home. I feel like that is way more convenient than actually having to go into offices. My wife has a nice little setup in our home where we changed the dining room into her office space. But now that everything is back open, having options to enjoy the outdoors is definitely a plus in Little Elm. So like I said, Little Elm is located right on Lake Lewisville, and Lake Lewisville is by far one of the favorites around Dallas, right? I mean, it's just super stunning out here, guys. During the summer, you'll see people on party boats all the time. And ever since we moved here, most of the invites to the lake are usually here at Lake Lewisville. I'm so used to just living around the water, being from Mississippi. I have 125 acres out in Mississippi, right? We have a couple of ponds where I like to go fishing for bass, crappie, brim, channel cat. So if you like fishing or boating or just the type of person that feels more calm around the water, then Little Elm is going to be a really good choice for you. So another real big part of just being on the lake is being able to be out here at the beach, right? Now, make no mistakes, you're not gonna get any beach waves, ocean waves, or anything like that for surfers, but you do have some access to some sand where, kids can come out, they make memories, build sand castles. A lot of people are playing in the water. It's just a really awesome place to go to with your family or with your friends, right? The beach area is really meticulously maintained, and there's always areas you can go and buy food and drinks as well, so you don't necessarily have to bring all that on your own. Another really cool area on the beach is going to be these volleyball courts right here, right? So if you want to get your Top Gun Maverick on where everybody's got their shirt off looking like Baywatch models, you can definitely do that here. Now, at these courts, they do have different leagues that play. They hold different events, so it's a really cool atmosphere if you're into that kind of thing. Another really convenient thing about the beach is if you're into kayaking, paddleboarding, or biking, you don't even have to bring your own equipment. You can rent some right here on the beach. Listen, I know how inconvenient it could be trying to lug all of your stuff around, and if you don't already have the gear, then you'll be saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars from going to Dick's Sporting Goods and trying to buy it on your own. And this is why so many people reach out to us, guys. We know the areas, we understand what's going on economically, and we can help you make the best decision for you and your family. We have the relationships that save you money, and we have the access to the exclusive inventory that you're not gonna see on Zillow or Realtor.com. So feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. Now, moving away from the water a little bit, let's get into some of the hiking trails we have around Little Elm. And speaking candidly, Little Elm has a pretty decent trail system. I think it's one of the better ones around the Metroplex, and you can't even be mad because it runs right along the lake, right? The trail system starts over in the Lakefront District in Little Elm, and we're gonna cover that area just a little bit later on in the video. Now, this trail is about 4 miles long, and most of the trail is that crushed gravel, so it's really soft on your feet, and you don't really have to worry about that hard concrete messing up your knees and messing with your joints. Now, one of the really nice things about the trail is it's completely lined with trees, so you get some nice scenery and coverage with shade. Now, there's several different access points to the lake when you're going through this trail system, so if you want to pick a good fishing hole, you have the pick of the litter, right? Now, if you were to come into contact with anyone that lives in this area, they're all going to say the same thing, that Highway 380 is a mess.
Oh, that's such a mess.
Look, this highway has really limited lanes and it services so many people back in this area, right? One of the main reasons for the backup is going to be all of the stoplights that are located on this road. There's just not enough lanes and it's stop and go traffic with all these traffic lights. Look, there's so many people turning on and off the highway, going to different communities. They're stopping at the gas stations. They're shopping at the grocery stores. There's even a high school located on the same road as well. Not to mention, this is probably one of the best routes from Denton to the other side of the Metroplex, getting over there to DNT. Look, all I'm gonna say is you don't want to get caught during rush hour on this road. It's really not even that long, but it could take you an hour to get from one side to the other. Not to mention they're building more and more commercial as it continues to expand. So just expect congestion to be a part of your way of life. Now, one of the main reasons people move down to Dallas is because of the lower price of housing. Now, this really depends on where you're coming from. So if you're coming from a small place like Mississippi, where I did, then Texas may be a little bit more expensive. But in comparison to some of the places where a lot of my clients are coming from, like Chicago, places like Los Angeles, places like New York, then Little Elm is going to look like a very attractive place. Now, when you compare the prices in Little Elm versus Frisco, which is just a few minutes down the way, there's about a $200,000 difference in the median home price. Now, granted, Frisco's gonna have some more custom homes. They're gonna have bigger options, bigger homes, luxury townhomes. But at the end of the day, it always comes down to location, location, location. But if you're trying to stay in budget, but still have access to all that Frisco provides, Little Elm is a great option for you. Now, what I will say is the DFW is on the rise from an expense perspective. And, things are getting much more expensive year over year. We really just can't ignore that fact anymore, because a lot of people keep talking about, how affordable Dallas and just Texas is in general. But again, we really have to take into consideration, where a lot of these people are coming from in order to really get a good gauge on affordability. The size of the DFW right now is around 7.8 million people, and it's projected that the population is going to grow to somewhere around 8.4 million by 2028. So as more and more people come in, as inventory continues to be a problem in the United States, prices have nowhere to go but up. So please, I implore you, don't believe all the doomsdayers who are talking about we're going to see a market crash or a market correction. It's just not in the cards right now. They've been talking about this same thing for like the last 7 years, and we still haven't seen it. And from what I'm seeing in the market right now, investors are buying up everything. I'm talking about institutional investors, mom and pop investors. They are out here buying up properties and making them rental properties. I read a stat the other day that said investors bought nearly a third of the properties in Texas last year. So what does that tell you about the market here in Dallas? So I'm telling you, if you're on the fence about purchasing a property, you might want to go ahead and get in now, because over the next 5 years, prices are only going to go up. So one of the things you're going to have to take into consideration, especially in the transportation department, is going to be the extra toll fees you're going to accrue on the day-to-day basis. Listen, nobody likes paying extra money, but here in Texas, in Dallas especially, we have quite a few toll roads. And just being honest, we have way more of them located up on that northern side of the Metroplex. So to get around, you're most likely going to be using Dallas North Tollway, which is going to be that main artery running north and south. And this toll road runs all the way to downtown Dallas. So just depending on where you're going, you could be paying $3 to $5 per trip, if not more. And let me give you a little bit of advice from my own personal experience. When you first move down here, don't try to skate the tolls. Look, these toll readers are advanced. The reader actually takes a picture of your car, your license plate, and I believe even your VIN number. So the prices vary. If you have a toll tag, it's going to be a little bit cheaper than if you don't have one. It's going to probably be a little bit more expensive. It's super easy to apply for a toll tag. There's an app associated with it as well. You can add your debit card to your account and it'll replenish whenever, your account goes below a certain threshold. But just don't think you're going to ride on the toll road and not pay, because you will find yourself in trouble, right? I've seen some people get arrested for having delinquent tolls before. I want to say at the beginning, of every other month or each quarter, they do what's called a warrant roundup. And if you have a certain amount of delinquency and tolls, they will come and find you at your job. So look, just avoid the headache and make sure you're taking care of your business so you don't have to deal with anything like that.
So most people who reach out to me on YouTube tend to want new construction, brand new homes, rather than, the resale properties on the market. New construction is definitely the most popular thing here in Texas, especially right now as builders continue to sell their inventory. Now, Little Elm has a lot of new construction opportunities, but by far one of the most popular neighborhoods is right here in Union Park. Now, Union Park is over 1,100 acres of prime real estate development, right? This community has over 3,400 homes, a 30-acre park. There's multiple schools within a half a mile, and they have some of the best builders in the Metroplex. Let's start right here with American Legend Homes. Now, this builder has options for 50-foot, 60-foot, and 70-foot lots. You're gonna get the modern finishes throughout with the contemporary wood floors. You're gonna get the shaker cabinets, double height ceilings in the living room. These homes come with upgraded stainless steel appliance packages and overall are a very good quality home, right? Next up, we have Highland Homes, and they built a bunch of houses in the neighborhood as well, but I believe they kind of finished off what they had with their inventory in Union Park. Another notable option is going to be Bloomfield Homes, right? Now, something a lot of people don't know about Bloomfield is they don't use traditional 2x4s. They're gonna use 2x6s, so your framing is much thicker and more sturdy when it comes to make that house last longer. You'll also get better energy efficiency due to the thickness of the insulation, so that saves you on your monthly energy bills. Now, Bloomfield usually have more traditional feel to them, you know, modern textures, and they also have the nice finishes throughout. Now, lastly, we're gonna talk about Tri-Point Homes. Now, Tri-Point features those high ceilings, energy efficiency. They have smart home options available with tons of options to choose from. So if you're looking for that modern feel, Tri-Point is definitely another one that you would like as well. And like I said before, guys, this is why you reach out to us. We have the inventory. We understand everything that you could be looking for. We have the relationships with the builders. We have the inventory that's not on Zillow and Realtor.com. So feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is in the description below.
Now, one of the hidden gems of Little Elm that not a lot of people really even know about is going to be the access to the lakefront district. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even know about this area until I started doing my research for this video right here. I just felt like this would be an awesome place to show you guys, right? Now, the lakefront district is a family-friendly entertainment district that's right on the banks of Lake Louisville. It's definitely one of the most popular hangout spots in Little Elm, and for the people that come from, you know, other communities as well, quite frankly. So this area has a combination of retail space, residential properties, and they also have multifamily apartments here as well. There's a nice hotel located down there, and this is where, you know, the beach area was that we spoke about earlier. Now, the really cool area to mention is going to be the 2-acre park that's located in the middle of it all. They hold different events like community movies, a few concerts per year. They have community events like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it's definitely a great place to take the kiddos and have a good time. Now, before I forget, one of the most unique areas in any of the cities in the Metroplex, and the feature that sets Little Elm apart from a lot of other places, is the Hydrus Wake Park, right? This is a cable wakeboard park that allows you to wakeboard without actually having to have a boat. I've never actually wakeboarded myself, but if you're an outdoor enthusiast, this is going to be right up your alley. You know, people come from all over the Metroplex to enjoy the waves during the hot summer months. I want to say they even hold some small competitions, so it's definitely a happening spot in the middle of June. On the flip side, when your appetite starts to kick in, you'll have a few different options for food, like the Barracuda Seafood Grill. They serve fresh seafood and Mexican cuisine. There's Towers Tap House. You also have Fuzzy's Taco Shops, and you can stop in at Water's Edge Cafe. Now, if you're looking to just hang out, have a few drinks, and maybe catch a game or so, then you can head over to Tin Men Social. Like, this is a laid-back bar that serves American food. You get pizzas, they have pork rinds, chicken wings, burgers. I mean, the list goes on and on. They have some pretty cool activities like axe throwing. They have multiple bowling lanes. They have the big screen TVs, cornhole stations, and an arcade for the kids. So if you're looking for a great spot to park your car and roam around for a few hours on a Saturday night, this would be a great place to explore. Now, in regards to the school, I use greatschools.org to get a good gauge on what the school quality is based on that website, right? So according to Great Schools, 75% of the schools are considered below average. Now, the other 25% are just considered average, which I found to be a bit interesting because that means that 0% are actually considered to be above average, right? Now, another metric of our research is going to be the district student progress report. And according to Great Schools, 75% of the students scored below average and the other 25% were just average. So based upon these numbers, guys, Little Elm is showing there's some room for improvement, right? Especially when you compare them to some of the other suburbs in the North Dallas areas, right? Now, I'm not sure just how accurate this is, but you should definitely do your own research to gain more insights and, you know, help you make the most informed decisions. Now, in terms of the location, it's going to be kind of interesting because this can either be a con or a pro. And it's really just coming down to what you want to be in proximity to. You know, for this category, we're just going to talk about some of the pros of the location, and then we'll touch on the cons of the location a little bit later in the video. Now, everything you could want in terms of entertainment, shops, restaurants, bars, and mall is really over here. It's just a short commute, right? Most of those entertainment options are going to be located either in Frisco or Plano, so it makes it really convenient when you're trying to get to those places. You know, most of the areas are going to be located, you know, roughly 20 minutes or so from Little Elm, so it's prime in terms of location. Now, a lot of people actually work in these areas as well, so it makes it a quick trip to work should you need to run home for a lunch break or something like that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Now, as Frisco continues to grow in terms of economic development, more jobs will be available because it's just so close to Frisco and it makes it a great work-life balance. Back when I was in corporate America, I used to live literally 5 minutes from work, and man, I must say that made things super convenient. So if you're the type of person that wakes up late or you're always rushing to work, Little Elm could be a great location for you working in one of these popular suburbs. Now, if we take a look at the location on the flip side, Little Elm is rapidly growing and most of the growth is happening on the north side of the city. That's where all the new construction, all the new builds are happening. There's another small town north of Little Elm called Aubrey, which is pretty much connected to it. And that's where a lot of the new builds are going on as well. So with all that new construction and new people moving in, there tends to be a lot of traffic and congestion like we talked about on that main road. And like I said before, 380 is a monster and you don't want to get caught out there. Now, something that you definitely need to be aware of, especially since you're going to be so close to the water, is going to be the bugs, and specifically the mosquitoes. Listen, it's hot here in Texas, so when you mix heat and the water, you tend to get a plethora of those annoying bloodsuckers. Look, I can't say I've ever met anyone that says that they actually like mosquitoes, and if I'm being really honest, I don't even really know the point of mosquitoes. I guess that's really a question between me and God, but look, I know he must have a really good reason for it. Now, there are different companies that'll come out and spray to help you better deal with them, but it's going to be an ongoing thing year after year. And just for your own information, and this is just Texas in general, it's probably in your best interest to have a pest company on retainer. You know, most people here in Texas have their home service every quarter just to keep out the ants and all the other pests. You know, when I first moved here, I thought it was something that I could just do myself, go to Walmart, get a can of bug spray, spray the bugs down, everything's gonna be good. But after a while, you start to realize hiring a company to service your home is probably in your best interest. Now, if Little Elm just doesn't do it for you, then we have some other areas around the Metroplex that could potentially be a better fit, and you can check out those areas right here.